What is going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadski, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video, and this is the time that so many people have been waiting for. We are going to be doing our full-on legend tier list for the month of June, upcoming June 2022. So this video is going to entail all of the characters that are released during May 2022, which includes all of the anniversary characters: Luffy, Kaido, Ace, Yamato, the waifus, and then you got the 6+ Akainu, and then the brand newly released Law and Kid are all going to be applied onto this tier list today. I know a lot of people have been asking for it. People don't seem to realize that it's always coming out same time every single month. So here we go, we're heading into the month of June. Let's go ahead and talk about these Sugo Fest exclusives. But of course, before we get into it, let's talk about my criteria that I typically use in order to judge whether a character is good or not. So we have a couple of different criteria, the first of which being the power of the unit. So how much damage can this character provide for your team? What is the speed? How fast can you clear content? And how reliable are they at clearing that content? As well as their clear rate. Is there content out there that they literally cannot clear? That's obviously going to be a big thing for the character, as well as their usability and their versatility. So how often are they used for content? Is there content that they're used for even on teams where they're not even fully boosted, just because of how valuable the unit is to own? So stuff like that will make the character definitely higher up on the tier list. And as you can see here, this is a fresh list. We don't have any of the stuff here from the previous month. We're starting from scratch because, you know, it's the anniversary. We're going to start from scratch now that we know the current meta of these legends, how powerful they are, and I think it'll be a really good opportunity to judge all these characters, you know, fresh again. And the thing is not every character is going to be put on this list. We've got quite a lot of tiers here, and this video hopefully is not too long. We're just going to be slamming down a lot of these earlier ones, and then once we get a little bit later on in the tier list, we can you know, talk about characters and stuff. So of course there are the level limit breaks as well. So we've got Corazon, Marco, Sabo, Dofi, and the other one I can't remember off the top of my head, but we'll get to it eventually. So the level limit breaks definitely make characters worthwhile and will definitely be put on this list as well. Let's go ahead and start things off. I mean, like, let's just start slamming some of these characters. A lot of these level limit breaks, like, I don't want to put them too high because I really want to make sure that, you know, we have space, and I don't want to clutter too many of these tiers. So I guess for now, a lot of these characters will be put on this list. Sabo is one of the new level limit breaks. He's actually pretty good, actually. This guy is pretty solid, and this does include the blue time skip Luffy as well. Pretty good. Rayleigh is still good because of his support effect. Shanks is actually pretty solid. Ace is okay. Sengoku, I'll put Sengoku on there, you know, give him a little bit of loving. And we got Zoro, who's pretty bad, but his level limit break does make him usable, I suppose. Crocodile actually has a god tier special now. He's actually insane, so that definitely makes him a lot better. Who else do we have? We've got Shanks, Akainu. Actually, I forgot to take this icon out, but we'll talk about the 6+ a little bit later on. Buggy I actually will put on the list because his new buffs with level limit break are actually pretty good. I do like Tesoro still. He's got a good support, but doesn't really see a lot of play these days, so I actually might keep him off. As I said, I really want to make sure that there aren't too many characters that are cluttering these tiers here. We've got Judge, Corazon with the level limit break, actually, like, pretty good. I just straight up think as a character, Corazon probably is better with that level limit break. Rayleigh is still very useful though, because he does have the crewmate ability to, you know, launch his special multiple times per quest. But Corazon does have cooldown reduction at the start of the quest, which means you can use him very, very quickly. So I do like that about Corazon. Frankie, I still want to put on the list. You got to put respect on his name, being able to get through damage limiter, which not a lot of characters can actually get through, which is pretty valuable, to be honest. And we got Doflamingo. I'll put him on the list. He's not that great in regular content, but the level limit break gives him multipliers that are somewhat, you know, modern, you know what I mean? He's actually pretty good. I'll put him up there, actually. He's pretty solid still. Luffy Law are still okay. I don't think they're anything like god tier, but they're still somewhat usable. Sabo, Koala, like, they're alright still. Not too bad. Vivi Rebecca, this is definitely probably one of the better characters that we've seen thus far. I guess I'll put them on there for now. And then we've got Douglas Bullet and Stampede Luffy. I mean, Stampede Luffy's still pretty solid. Bullet, again, is okay. His multipliers and the fact that he's super effective is probably the only thing that really saves him. Everything else is kind of mid for that character. Kaido, you can't disregard what he's able to do. Halloween Ace is still pretty solid, but I'll put him a little bit lower because it's a lot easier to build a team with Stampede Luffy compared to Halloween Ace. But I guess Halloween Ace is kind of nice still because his special does boost like a pretty substantial margin. It's like a 2.5 attack boost and removes a lot of bind, so that's pretty valuable, to be honest. Chopper is still pretty good. And we've got Sober Mask and Luffy Zoro. Sober Mask I like. I'll put Sober Mask on there. Still, like, really good to just generate a full board of tandem slots. And we know that with the anniversary, tandem slots are incredibly valuable. And being able to launch twice in the same turn to get that buffed attack boost is pretty cool. We've got Lucy, who's still, like, pretty good. And we've got Robin. Robin's still alright. I mean, especially with Limit Break expansion, her captain effect is very good. Still really good. I mean, there's going to be a lot of characters in these in the lower tiers because I don't want to clutter the top tiers too much because there's a lot of good characters in the game. I think Arlong Crew are okay. They could probably fit on the list here because, I mean, I'll probably put Nami, Robin up there as well because they are still somewhat good. Like, they got utility plus a really good boosting effect. And, like, Arlong being able to resist special reverse and having Hody support on that too is really good. And then I just saw here just a moment ago, Shanks Crew. I mean, Shanks Crew, I'm still a big Shanks Crew fan. I think I'll leave him in tier 1 for now, but we'll see. He may get increased, but yeah, you can't forget about my man Shanks Crew. He's still incredibly valuable. Speaking of valuable characters, Mihawk and Perona is still pretty good. Being able to get that conditional boost. I guess I'll put them up there because they can basically get you a conditional boost that goes through everything. V3 Rayleigh's still pretty solid. Quickbeard is still, again, like a pretty solid unit. Definitely better than Rayleigh, but Rayleigh has more niche uses, I suppose, and the niche uses for him are pretty good. You've got Marco with the level limit break as well. This guy got really nice buffs. I'm a big fan of this Marco character. Honestly, might put him up here. Actually, very, very good. We've got Corazon, who is okay, but not that good. Snake Man, I mean, you can't talk down about Snake Man. He's still pretty good. Definitely deserves to be in here at a bare minimum. And we've got Sabo, very good against Dex content. Katakuri, still have to put him in here somewhere. These characters are still solid. Blackbeard, am I gonna put him on the list? He is still kind of niche to get around damage limiter if it is a one-turn damage limiter. There's just not enough content to really say that he's good enough. I don't really want to put him on the list. I still think Garb has good utility still. Sugar is really good though. Really good captain ability, really good special. I think this tier fits Sugar perfectly to be quite honest. V2 Rayleigh, I mean, I don't really think I'm going to put V2 Rayleigh on the list. He really doesn't see that much play anymore, to be honest. But then we got Wano Law. Whew, this guy's really good. I'm a big fan of Wano Law. He's going to go up into tier 1 for now, and we'll keep progressing. And, you know, as I said, I want to blast through these characters because there's a lot of big boys down here. So we have Summer Boa Hancock, very good. I mean, still to this day, Summer Boa still probably has one of the best super type specials in the game. Just incredible. Luffy Sanji, not a big fan of this unit. I don't think a lot of people are big fans of Luffy Sanji, but hey, they're still pretty good. They're still pretty good. Their switch effect is incredible for the unit. Sweet Commanders, not bad if you're against Mono Dex content. I guess in the same realm as Sabo. You know, against Mono Dex, they're incredible. Other than that, they're not very good. They've got a good support effect that attaches to a couple of good units though, so support effect is the key there for that unit. And then we've got Capone, which is, I mean, I don't really want to put him on the list, but that big father effect that he has is very unique. And then you got the Halloween Hybrid. Halloween Hybrid I'm a big fan of. These characters are definitely deserve to be on the list. These characters definitely deserve to be here. They honestly might even get increased just because of their utility and their captain effect, which is pretty good. Alright, what else do we have? Shanks is definitely not making it onto the list. And then we've got this guy right here, Kaido versus Big Mom. You still have to respect it. Kaido versus Big Mom is still pretty solid. I mean, I guess maybe right before tier 1. So I'll leave them in tier 1 for now, but you know, they're still very, very good. And you got V2 Shirahoshi, not Shirahoshi, that is with V2 Shirahoshi Manchu. I guess we can talk about them. I love this unit to death. I'm a huge fan of this unit, and even though their captain ability is not that desirable, you can't fathom like what that special does. It's one of the best sub specials in the game. It's so good. And then we got the Viva Rebecca, as we said. Viva Rebecca are okay. They're okay. Now they're probably down here. Let's be real. They've got somewhat a little bit of utility, and they're a striker and cerebral attack and orb booster. Like, very similar to Sanji Judge, honestly. But that captain effect is just not that good. And they're special, while it has like a really cool utility and it's an attack and an orb boosting effect, it's just not really required for content. But like, they're good. They're good. They're just not really required for a lot of content out there these days. And we already made it to Roger. So V1 Roger, now that's the thing. Now, top 5. So as I said, it's a top 5. I'm putting 5 characters here. I'm going to be putting quite a few characters in top 5, and then towards the end of the video, we'll kind of determine which characters deserve to be in my personal top 5. So we'll leave Roger up there for now, because I still think he's one of the best legends in the entire game. Sanji Pudding, they're okay. I'm not a big fan of the unit, in all honesty. I think Zoro is still pretty solid. he could probably be bumped up to this tier, because if you're using like a Dex team against mono quick content, Zoro is just absolutely phenomenal for that. And Kaido is still really good against just anything that doesn't have like a full immunity buff. Kaido is going to be really, really good against. But that's the thing, if they have an immunity buff, he is definitely devalued, which really hurts him. And there's just better quick captains like versus Akainu, which I guess we'll get to. I mean, yeah, these characters are probably not making the list, but versus Akainu, I think that versus Akainu is very close to a top 5. They're definitely a tier 0. Like they're definitely not below this tier for sure. But I mean, a lot of people would probably put them or close enough to the top 5. So I guess we'll leave them there for now. We'll be changing that eventually. Onami is okay. Yeah, fitting. And we've got Magellan, who again is like, Magellan is such a disappointment. It is a shame. His captain effect is pretty solid, but his super type special is pretty bad with really bad conditions, and the actual special of the unit isn't that great either. So it's a bit of a missed one there from Magellan. Blackbeard, I guess I will put him on the bottom here because there are still some uses for him, but he's not that great. But then Moria, shout out to my man Moria, really love to say hello in the recent Sugo Fests, of course. But Moria is still pretty good. I'm a big fan of this unit. I think that this is probably a tier 1 character at the moment. But I'll leave it there for now. We may have to change Moria, but I'm a big advocate of this unit. I think he's a great unit. Now, what else do we have here? We have Legend Cracker, who is okay, but doesn't see a lot of play these days, unfortunately. He's got color affinity and chain boosting effects. He's just got a really bad captain too, which is unfortunate. We got Capone Crew. A lot of people really like this unit for some reason. I have never really been a big fan. I can respect what he does, but I've just never really been a big fan of his playstyle. It's very defensive and not very fast at clearing content either, which is a shame. Bonnie's still very good, so we can put her in here. She has utility, attack boost, chain lock. It's a pretty solid special, but and captain ability is not the best. Like if you're running an int captain, you definitely use these guys over them for sure. And then we got the other Final Taps, like the first release of Final Tap with Luffy, Lort, and Kid. I definitely think Kid is my favorite of the 3. So he's going to be in tier 0. I think he's absolutely phenomenal. And I mean, in all honesty, like Lort is probably in tier 0 as well. He's got that unique increased damage taken to go through immunity. And unfortunately, Luffy kind of misses the mark because he's just too generic, and he like, while he's fine, there's just better Luffys that eventually release, like the 8th anniversary Luffy. So I do think Luffy is still good. He's probably the top of tier 2. I don't think he's actually tier 1 worthy, to be honest. His final tap isn't that good. His special ability is fine, and I mean his super type is actually pretty good. It's fine, but just the special and the final tap itself are not really worth the investment. When you've got characters like Roger, which are kind of just better at doing what Luffy does. But either way, it is what it is. If you're up against mono strength, Luffy's still going to be a pretty solid option for that. All right, let's start flying through some of these other characters that we have here. We got Sabor Ace. Ooh, I love this unit. This unit is really good. Definitely tier 0. I don't rate them as a top 5, but I think they're easily a tier 0 character. I think they're above Law. Are they above Kid though? Yes, probably. They're probably the best unit in tier 0 so far, I think. But of course, that may change with the characters that drop down from top 5. So let's go ahead and keep slamming these down. We've got Komurasaki. I don't think I want to put her on the tier list. Whitebeard versus Roger is definitely going on here. They're up here. Probably this. I'd be happy with putting that unit like that. Even though this unit basically counts as 2. You've got the Sai and the int variation. Kid is just so valuable to own. He's so good. And then we have Sanji and Marco. Marco is such a weird design. I kind of want to put him a little bit lower, but his utility that he has is pretty unique. So I think I'll leave him a little bit higher than I usually would. And Sanji is pretty mid, but he is a Sai captain, Sai fighter, free spirit captain. So I'll leave him here for now. His special is not the best, unfortunately, for the unit. And then we got Germa 66. I still think they're pretty valuable. I'm going to leave them a little bit up here. Really nice effect, but again, mono Sai, which doesn't really help out the unit. And then you've got King and Queen. Both of these characters are incredibly powerful. Be happy if you have them. I think Queen is tier 0. I think King is tier 1. I believe I did the same thing last month, and I don't really think I want to change that. They're both very valuable in their own ways, but if you look at it at face value, Queen is just the better unit overall. And then we've got Toki. Now, I've had Toki in my top 5 for the last few months in Treasure Cruise tier lists, and I'll leave her there for now, but I cannot guarantee that she'll be here at the end of the video, so we'll have to wait and see how that one progresses. So we got Sabo. He got some really nice buffs, but he's nothing amazing. The size straw hats are pretty good. They're pretty valuable. They enable you to remove certain debuffs, which is very unique. You can just select a debuff and remove 5 turns of it. Very, very nice to have. And then we have the waifu characters with Reiju and Vivi. Reiju is really poor design because she's only really good against like one type of content. And her captain ability is okay. Her special and super type are actually still pretty good. Yeah, she still deserves to be in tier 3. Vivi, on the other hand, is like really simple, but due to the simplicity, she's actually really good. And she like free spirit and cerebral captain, good special ability, good super type. Like, there's nothing really bad about Vivi. She's just an overall super solid Sugofest exclusive. Honestly, I really want to put her in tier 1. She's pretty good. I don't think I'll put her in tier 1, but she's pretty close. She's pretty close to tier 1, honestly. Very, very good unit. All right, what else do we have? We got Borsalino. Good sub, you know, color affinity and chain boost, but it's nothing. I think he actually removes special bind as well, so a bit of utility definitely makes him better. Captain ability is actually pretty good too. He does deserve to be in that tier. And we got Carrot, speed farming captain, but it's about the extent of the unit. She's definitely better with her super evolution, but I mean, this law has to go down. Luffy law definitely has to be dropped down. Yeah, I'm happy with that. We have CP Zero Lucci, Dex Fighter Powerhouse Captain. Good special, good captain effect, good super type. Or super type is actually probably the worst component of this character. Yeah, there's just not a lot of uses for this guy, unfortunately. He is good, like, don't get me wrong. I love CP Zero Lucci, but he's just not that good. Speaking of not that good is Kuma. I don't think I want to put him on the tier list. But then we got Yamato. Woo! Yamato is really good, and she's been in my top 5 for quite a few months. Again, we'll have to wait and see how that actually unfolds. Yeah, we're stacking top 5 with some of the best units, obviously. So this is going to be an interesting top 5 to say the least. And we got Ulti Page 1, really good in Kizuna Clash. Love this unit. But the captain ability is terrible, and the condition for the special at times can be bad. So even though this character is only really good in Kizuna, I guess I'll leave it in tier 3 because, you know, there's not many characters that can do what this unit can do. I'll leave it there for now, but like a lot of components of Ulti Page 1 I hate, but it's the fact that in Kizuna you're able to get a really good chain boundary and a guaranteed conditional, one of the best conditional boosts in the game against the enemy. It's pretty valuable for that reason, to be honest. We got Jack, who doesn't deserve to be here. Halloween Boa, great utility, great special ability. Terrible captain effect though, and it's kind of similar with Perona, like great special and everything, but just a terrible captain effect, so that's why I'll leave that character here. And then we've got Koala, good effects from Koala. The overhealing's kind of nice. I guess I should leave her kind of here. She does deserve to be here. I don't think she needs to be bumped up, but she's pretty close. Koala's pretty good. If you're up against mono quick content to get that huge color affinity boost, it's pretty good. And then we've got Pudding. Pudding's very unique, so I guess I'll put her in here for now. Captain effect is terrible though. Doflamingo, pretty valuable unit to have as well. If you're running mono driven isn't that great though, but his effects are really nice. I kind of want to bump him lower, to be honest. I haven't really used too much of him, and that's the same with Katakuri. Like on paper, Katakuri does seem really good, but it's just like he doesn't really provide enough. Dofi's definitely better on paper because of the utility that he has. You know, Katakuri has bigger numbers, but the utility plus the numbers from Dofi I think are more valuable to have. And we have Crocodile. If you're running a Cerebral team, you're probably using him or the new Trafalgar Law. Either one of them, very, very valuable. I'll put him up there. Actually, you know what? Crocodile definitely deserves to be up here. He's really good. I haven't had a lot of opportunities to use a Cerebral team in a while. So I may have to go back and actually use this character a little bit more. But I think for now, I'm going to put him in tier 2. I know a lot of people are going to be upset about that, but look, this is just from my personal experience of using the characters. I haven't had too much of an opportunity to use him. I understand and respect what this character can do. He is very, very good. So to make people a little more happy, I'll make him the top of tier 2. But I guess, you know what? No, Capone Crew. If Capone Crew's there, Croc has to be here, like 100%. Like, there's just no doubt he has to be here. Yeah, okay, I'm gonna make everyone happy. Okay, let's move on. Usopp and Nami are not making it on here. Rob and Jinbei, they're just going to make it, honestly. They're pretty nice, but they're not the greatest unit ever. Like, they're not a unit that really amazes you when you read it. You're just like, okay, that's kind of neat, but it's not game-breaking, not game-changing, not meta-defining. It's just a solid unit with some pretty decent utility. Kaido Crew. Kaido Crew are really good for speed farming, they're not, like, again, it's not a unit that's going to go gangbusters and just absolutely, you know, clear content super easily for you, kind of like V1 Kaido. But they're still very good. They can provide some really nice color affinity boost. Color affinity is probably one of the worst buffs you can actually get, as it's so dependent on your colors of your crew. But I still kind of respect what they do. Yeah, I think tier 2 is a really good place for them, honestly. And then we've got Brook. I'm not a big fan of him. Okay, and now we get to, this is where the big boys come out to play. So here we've got Luffy crew, Luffy and the Straw Hats. So you guys may have seen on tweets, or if I've ever interacted with people, I've always said I think Luffy crew is the best legend in the game. So I don't think it's going to be too much of a stretch to say that they're going to be a top 5 unit in the game. I love Luffy crew. Very, very crazy design. And speaking of crazy design is Roger and Newgate. Again, another unit that I personally think is one of the top 5 best legends in the game. This unit, these two are definitely staying in here. There's no question in my mind, and nothing that people say would ever change that. Those units are 100% staying on this list. All right, what else do we have? We got V1 Odin. V1 Odin, haven't really used him much this month, but I left him in tier 0 in the previous list, and I'm definitely going to be keeping him in there as well. Just overall a great, solid set of skills. There's nothing crazy there. But then we got Bon Clay. Speaking of crazy, this is going to be another tier 0 character. Just so many good things about this unit. Talked about him extensively with base attack, matching slots, can become any class or color that you want. Just ridiculous skills that character has. And then you got Cat Dog. Yeah, Cat Dog are really good. I didn't use them too much in the previous month, but they're still really, really nice because you can just use them to get around the enemy defensive effects and stuff like that. They have a little bit of drawbacks in terms of the skills and the way that you kind of use them, and they're only really good for like 10 turns. After 10 turns, they're pretty bad, honestly. Their specials are pretty good too. They've got great support effects, great in Pirate Rumble. There's a lot to love about Cat Dog specifically, and if you want to run like a carrot style team, you can definitely do it with Cat Dog. They provide like more damage compared to Carrot, for example. But there are obviously benefits that Carrot has that these characters don't. It's more difficult to team build with Cat Dog, unfortunately. But if you're able to build a team, they're just going to destroy content, which is so good. So I think for now, I'll leave them in tier 1. They're pretty good together, honestly. I think Dog is definitely better because he's easier to build a team for compared to Cat, but they're still a really, really good set of units. Both together are amazing. And then you got Carrot and Wanda, which are also really good. I did pull them in the Anniversary Sugar Fest, but unfortunately, I haven't had a chance to actually use them yet. I really want to use them, though. Their special looks good. Their captain effect is just terrible, though. We'll have to wait and see how things go. I haven't had a chance to use them yet. I did use them in the Grand Voyage against Captain Morgan. They were obviously very, very good for that. But outside of that, I haven't had a chance to use them. I know that they got the really cool cooldown stuff. They got a really good orb boost to a lot of different classes in the game. There's lots to love about this unit. Haven't had a chance to use them yet. But on paper, really solid unit. And then we have 6+ Dofi, which basically is like a nerfed version of this Dofi. Yeah, I'll just put him on the list. He's nothing too crazy. V2 Odin. I mean, one of the best units in Pirate Rumble. I think this unit has a great special, and he can be a color affinity booster, or he can be an attack booster. He's got a super class special to give you a full border slot and a chain boost as well. Odin is ridiculous. And then Kinemon and Denjiro on the same vein. I did actually pull them in the Anniversary Sugo Fest as well, and I did use them a little bit, but I didn't like them as much as I liked using Odin, to be honest. I think Kinemon and Denjiro have a really good special ability, and I like the fact that they can generate Wano slots as a captain, but I definitely found using Odin to just be easier, or just to be more efficient. I understand why they're here and I understand what they do and all that, but I definitely like Odin a lot more. So I kind of want to bump them down. But the thing about this unit and why I think they might be up here is because they have a utility in their special ability to remove defensive effects. And I think it's like 6 turns of like Rainbow Shield or Defense Up. I can't remember exactly which one it is, but it's a really good utility. Orb boost to Slasher and Free Spirit. Free Spirit specifically being the best class in the game, essentially. So it's a huge asset to this unit. They've got a great captain, good in Rumble. So all these things combined, like they're easily a tier 0 unit still really, really good. Izo and Okiku, man, another disappointing unit in terms of design because they had such a good captain going there, but then they kind of screwed it with the special and the super type. So I guess I'll leave them down here. I mean, they probably deserve to be up here because you can do some really cool things with them. But yeah, just really poor design choices with that unit, unfortunately. We got the new Frankie. I think new Frankie is super solid. I'm a big fan of this unit. I definitely think this unit is a tier 0 character, no doubt in my mind. This character is great. And then you've also got Brook. The new Brook is also really solid. I think he deserves to be in tier 2 though, because in regular content, he's probably not going to be used that much. I mean, realistically, he's probably down here, honestly. He's not going to be used in a lot of content, but, you know, specifically for that Grand Voyage content, he is, like, so good for it. He's, like, basically built for it, but outside of that, yeah, this character is probably not going to see a lot of play, unfortunately. And then we've got your Rogue, who is pretty bad, but you know, he is still kind of neat. I guess I'll put him really low on this list. And then we got X Drake. Dude, X Drake is so good, especially with the latest release of Kaido. I mean, you definitely know that they had the Kaido in mind when they built the X Drake unit. Perfect synergy across the board with X Drake and Kaido together. Super type, super class, attack boost, chain boundary, orb boost, everything, right? It makes a lot of sense why this unit was designed the way that it was designed. So X Drake, no doubt in my mind, is a tier 0. I don't think it's a top 5, but I truly love and respect this X Drake legend. They've done a really good job with designing him. Really good unit across the board. Speaking of good design, this Kuzan is easily tier 0 as well. I mean, with level limit break expanded captain effect, it's one of the craziest captain abilities you'll ever read. It's like a whole novel in his captain ability. His special ability is also a novel. There's just lots to go through. There's healing, matching slots, really big multipliers, minus cooldown, and then his special with, you know, attack boost, orb boost, utility, matching slots, just so much going on with this unit. They did a really good job with this 6+. Probably my favorite super evolution currently at this point. Just such good design. Marco and Big Mom. I was lucky enough to pull Marco. Have not used him in content yet, unfortunately. But on paper, I'm going to leave him as a tier 1 character. And then for Big Mom, unfortunately, I'm not a big fan of this unit. I really want to be. But this unit also really suffers under the same things as like you know, some of the other legends we talked about, like Izo and Okiku and your Rogue, where they had a really good idea in mind for the unit, but because of the design choices they decided to go with, the unit kind of struggles. And it's kind of sad because Big Mom has a lot going for her. The thing that I don't like is, I don't like the fact that she automatically launches her special at the start of the quest. I really wish that she didn't do that, or they gave the unit additional cooldown at the start of the fight, like reduce the crew's cooldown by 2 turns at the start of the fight would have been great. Because the fact that she does launch her special means that you're just going to wave clear all the way to the boss stage, you're not going to have any of your specials ready, and you're just going to immediately die. So really poor design with Big Mom. She's going to be good in long form content, or the really difficult content where you get cooldown fully charged at the start of the quest. Content like that, this unit is going to be very good. But if you're talking about an arena, coliseum, stuff like that, clashes, she's not going to be a very valid option unless if her end of turn damage stuff just allows you to wave clear all of the stuff from the get-go. So poor design, but still on paper can still be good in some content though. So don't get it twisted. She still can be good, but in a lot of content, she's going to be kind of mid. All right, now we've got to the meat potatoes of the video, which is going to be the 8th anniversary characters. We've got 6+ Akainu and the 2 new batch characters, Law and Kid. So we have this guy right here, Monkey D. Luffy. Now, out of the anniversary legends, this character, without a doubt, is not going into top 5, should I say. I think this character at the moment is probably tier 0. The super tandem mechanic is super interesting and intricate. I like the way that they've done it, though it is annoying that you need so many dupes to get the condition fulfilled. I would have preferred if the condition was the level 5 condition all the time, and then just the multipliers got super crazy with the level ups. It is a huge shame that the conditions also have to be changed upon leveling up. I don't like that at all. But if we're looking at Luffy, you know, fighter, free spirit captain, just a captain ability is really good, like a 5.5 captain. He's up to a 3.5 orb booster if he is the captain and you use the super class. Super class being able to give you base attack as well, full border slots, despair removal. This unit does a lot of really good stuff. So Luffy is super solid, but some of the characters that we talk about in top 5 are either characters that provide boosts to like rainbow characters, not specifically just a free spirit or for fighter characters, or just provide a lot more to your team than what this guy can do. But don't disregard what I'm saying. I think Luffy is an incredibly designed character. I think they actually did a really good job with this unit, definitely compared to like this Luffy, for example. They've done a really good job with this guy. But I think some of the other characters in this list are going to be slightly better. So now we have Kaido. Now this is one of the characters that I was talking about. This is one of the characters that I think is like a top 5 best legend in the game right now, and it literally is due to the fact that he can get that increased damage taken through immunity, as well as buff the increased damage taken, as well as get a conditional boost against increased damage taken. So if he's your captain, you get that Wano slot, you're able to get, you know, the 2 times conditional boost, and you get the 2.75 all boost, and then you can potentially get up to a 2 times additional tandem striker attack boost, and you can buff the increased damage taken. He's a striker powerhouse captain, so that's got great synergy in and of itself. We already talked about X Drake, but there's so many good powerhouse and specifically striker as well. Striker has a lot of good supports right now, and you got this guy right here, Roger Newgate, another striker character, which works very well with this guy as well. Of course, the main problem with Kaido is that his usability as a crewmate is going to be pretty bad, because you don't get increased damage taken unless if you're using someone like, you know, Yamato, for example, to apply it on the enemy, and that is also still hoping that they don't have an immunity buff against it. Unless if you literally just squeeze in the final tap law just to get the guaranteed increased damage taken. Again, it's a little bit finicky if you use him as a sub, but if you are using him as a captain, I mean, that's still going to be one of the best ways to use him. But I can definitely see later on down the line, like maybe like 12 months from now, it's going to be interesting to see whether Kaido is going to be this high in the tier list. I would probably say no, because I think that once he gets kind of power crept as a captain, or there's just more desirable captains to use for content, I don't know how good this is going to be. But if you do have Kaido at level 5, the condition is very easy for his super tandem, which allows you to get so much additional damage. And we have seen in the Kizuna clash within this latest release of the 8th anniversary that even if you don't have type advantage, you're still hitting incredibly hard due to increased damage taken and the conditional boost against it. We've seen it. We can understand what it's able to do. So I think that this character is going to be a top 5 character for quite a while, until maybe like a power creep of some sort happens. But currently, I'm a really big fan of this unit. So next we have Ace and Yamato, and I think Ace and Yamato definitely deserve to also be in the questioning of top 5. So the really cool thing about this unit is the utility. The utility in the captain effect is amazing. They've got the guaranteed conditional with the super switch and the chain boundary and the attack boost, and they provide a lot of really cool stuff. But there are obvious downsides, which I did talk about in my showcase video for this unit. The major downside well, there's 2 major downsides with this unit. Number 1, there's no real slot manipulation. They don't have any matching slots in their captain effect, special, crewmate, nothing. They don't give you any matching slots. The only slot that is changed is their own when you use their switch effect. So that is a little bit of a downside, which means you have to run other characters to dedicate, you know, into getting matching slots. The other real bad thing about this unit is the fact that their switch effect applies ignite. And I was thinking that I think that if the super switch was the only part of the character that applied the ignite status, I would much prefer that, because it is so hard to get their super switch in regular content. If you're in a clash arena, forget it. You are not seeing this super switch. So that is a big shame, which means you can't get the guaranteed conditional boost on the final boss stage when you would normally want to get it. And you don't get the buff chain boundary either. So those are 2 major issues that I have with this unit, and why I don't think they're going to ever be the best legend in the game. No doubt that they're never ever going to be that. But this is still a really good unit though, because they boost striker, free spirit, and shooter characters. So shooter getting a little bit of love with this unit too, which is great. There's lots to love about Ace and Yamato. We'll definitely talk about it towards the end. Definitely in question for top 5. And then we've got the waifus, Hancock, Nami, Robin. Yeah, they're pretty good too. They've got great utility, special ability. Their captain effect is still pretty usable too. Do I think they're ever going to be a top 5? No, I don't think they're top 5. I definitely think they do deserve to be in the question for tier 0 though. I mean, the utility of paralysis and attack down removal is so good, and they have lots of really good usable supports that you can attach to them too. Being a strike and free spirit captain is very valuable. They've got overhealing just basically everywhere. If you're using them as a captain, the amount of overheal that you get is just absolutely stupid. If you guys would have seen my showcase video, I showed it there. The overhealing is nuts, and the fact that they provide color affinity is kind of annoying, but when you do think about it as well, they do provide the best color affinity in the game's history, currently being a 2.75 color affinity boost, and you can stack it with, again, Roger Newgate, who is also a striker character, and you can buff that color affinity to like 3.25. That is nuts. A 3.25 times color affinity boost? Whose idea was that? You know, Hancock Nami Robin, I think I'll leave him here for now, but I can definitely see as time progresses, you know, we've got our rose-tinted glasses on talking about the 8th anniversary characters, but as time progresses, I can definitely see this character being bumped down a little bit, but currently, I mean, at the moment, the way that this character is being used is just so good. Alright, so now we also have the 6+ Akainu. So I have been using this character a little bit, and I must say that I definitely prefer Corazon over Akainu, which is kind of funny. I talk about it in my showcase video. By the time this video goes up, I don't know if my showcase video for Akainu would be up, but in that video, I do discuss that, you know, when these characters first released with Akainu and Corazon, Akainu was definitely better. The end of turn damage was so valuable and just carried you through content. But as time has progressed, enemies' HP becomes more significant, normal attacks only is more prevalent. Just the reasons why Akainu was more valuable over Corazon just get negated at that point. And then you actually get to see the raw power of both of these characters, and in my opinion, Corazon is more valuable. I think he provides more to your team, and I think that the Sign quick typings work with this character better than what the Int and Strength typings work with Akainu. And the fact that Akainu being fighter shooter kind of hurts him a little bit, whereas, you know, the Corazon is a striker and a shooter. Really helps him out a lot. The fighter class is not that good, whereas the striker class, obviously as we've seen in this video, is much more substantial and helps him out a lot better. So I think he's still really good though, but I think that Corazon is just better, reason why I put him in a lower tier. And now we have the two newest legends being Law and Kid. So I actually was lucky enough to pull the Law, which is awesome, and I have used him a little bit, and he is pretty freaking good. I don't think he deserves to be top 5, but easily top in tier 0 discussion, no doubt. So this is interesting. Law has a lot of really cool stuff going for him, and it's kind of annoying too, because if Law was a Super Sugofest exclusive, he'd be similar to Kaido in the fact that he could probably apply the defense down through immunity, but they didn't give that to him, which if they did, he would be in discussions for top 5. But unfortunately, they didn't do that for this character, which is a bit of a shame. But this character still provides a lot of cool stuff, and this character unfortunately doesn't really do a lot of orb manipulation either, unlike what Kid does with his special ability. But Law has a lot of really cool things going for him. His super tandem is really cool too, whereas, you know, Kaido and Luffy with their super tandem only would boost one class. Law actually boosts both of his classes, being Cerebral and Free Spirit, so I like that. And you know, it can be a little bit difficult at times to get that super tandem to work, but I do like the fact that you have a lot of accessible units to him. Like, you can use a Luffy character, you can use Corazon, the new Beppo Rare Recruit is really good too. So he's got a couple of different options going for him, and his the fact that he can be an attack boost or an orb booster, I love the versatility in characters that can do that. That's really cool. And the fact that he can provide one of the best conditional boosts in the game, a 2.25 conditional in his super type special, or super class special should I say, is really cool. And I like that he's able to just generate himself a tandem slot for free, get the conditional boost, so you can just get that conditional boost whenever you need it. That's a really cool effect that this character has. I do still think that Final Tap Law probably is going to be more valuable to own in the long run, due to the increased damage taking going through immunity. Like, that's a really valuable effect to have. He's used in teams where, you know, he's not even boosted half the time because of that effect alone. So, you know, Law is going to be a really powerful unit moving forward, but I don't think he's going to be ever in the discussion of top 5. And then we've also got this guy right here. We have this kid, the brand new Eustace Kid, Punk Vice. I think, again, going to be in the same discussion as Law, very similar placings. The fact that this character is striker and driven focused is really interesting, because we know how good the striker class currently is. He's not color focused either, so, you know, any of these top strikers that we've talked about can work with Kid, which is really nice to see. He's got the tandem slot manipulation, he has attack boost, orb boost effects going on, lots of HP, lots of matching slots naturally too. The kid's a fantastic legend, but again, people are going to draw comparisons to his Final Tap version, and again, I do think the Final Tap version in the grand scheme of things is probably going to be more valuable to own, just due to the fact that he has the ability to launch his special multiple times per turn to get all of these buffs being activated. So it is what it is, right? You know, a lot of people will have those discussions over time. I think currently Final Tap Kid is still a better unit overall, but I think just due to the fact that this is the new unit, Super Tandem is obviously a big thing. A lot of people are going to want him for that, and I guess if you do have this character with like max super tandem, yeah, then, you know, he's probably going to be better overall compared to Final Tap Kid, but not a lot of people are going to have that super tandem max, and at times it's going to be difficult to build a team with, you know, the characters that you need for his super tandem to be activated. It's going to be difficult to activate at times, so it is what it is, right? But at the moment, I do think that this character is extremely strong and is going to just absolutely tear through content. And then just very briefly at the bottom, we got Kung Fu Luffy and we got Akainu. Unfortunately, for those out there, I'm not going to be putting Kung Fu Luffy on the list, but I think Akainu does deserve to be here because his special ability is pretty useful and was using a couple of Grand Voyage content. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and shuffle these characters around into the way that I would personally rank them in each of their tiers. Alright, so we've gone through and I've ranked all the characters in their specific tier to, you know, to kind of cater in terms of who's better than who in the overall grand scheme of things here. And here we are at top 5. So now we need to determine who are the top 5 best legends in the game. Now I think number 1 and number 2, we got the Luffy and the Straw Hats and Roger and Newgate at number 2. I was having discussions with my girl Karissa about this one, and personally, I do think that Roger and Newgate are probably still the second best unit in the game, and the reason why I do think that is because not only are they one of the best subs in the game with their amazing switch effect and being able to basically buff any attacker or boost to become god tier, but you've also got the fact that he's also a very good captain as well, so you can't disregard that, right? Now, at the third position, this is where things get a little tricky, and at the moment, I am going to put Kaido, just because of the fact that as a captain, with the special, with everything, with the super tandem, the fact that you can do so much damage against the enemy, even with type disadvantage, you can do ridiculous damage. And I think that this is going to be here for a little bit. The increased damage taken is so powerful. And as I said, if you're able to get that at like level 4, level 5, this guy's going to be absolutely unstoppable right now for the striker teams specifically. So, and the fact that he has great synergy with Roger Newgate, you can have Luffy Crew on the team to do absurd amounts more damage on top of it. Yeah, there's lots to love about Kaido, and the only real unfortunate downfall for this unit is he's not really that great as a crewmate. You can definitely make him work for sure, like he's not unusable, but he's definitely way better as a captain than he is as a sub. And also, it can be a little bit difficult to team build for, as you do need, you know, a king or queen or a jack or whatever to get that super tandem to be activated, which might not always be the most ideal way to build your team. But if you are able to build it that way, you just do so much damage that it probably doesn't matter anyway, right? So there's that. Now, in terms of the other 2 characters, we have to pick 2 characters from these 5 characters here. And this is pretty hard because I love all of these units in their own respective ways. I've used Versus Akainu so much in the previous month, and again, Powerhouse, great synergy with the Kaido character. Of course, you know, you probably want to run strikers mainly with Kaido, as those are the characters that receive the super tandem attack boost. So there is that. But it's really hard to pick. I think Versus Akainu might have to drop out of the top 5 discussion, but I think I'm definitely going to be putting them into the tier 0 discussion, to be honest. I think that they deserve to be in the top of tier 0. And then we've got the rest of these characters. We've got 4 characters we have to pick from. Okay, so we got Ace and Yamato. And again, we talked about the things that I don't like about the unit, the fact that they don't have orb change, and the fact that their super switch is basically non-existent in a lot of regular content. So that's a huge downfall for this unit. But when you take into consideration everything else about the unit, the attack boost, the conditional boost, which you are able to get in some forms of content, of course, but the fact that they have the utility bind and special bind removal, even in the solo captains, is ridiculous. So I think I am going to be putting Ace and Yamato as the 4th position, and now we have to pick one of these 3. We got Roger, Toki, and Yamato. And there's so much to love about all these 3 units, man. I love all of these units so much. I mean, we've got like the Despair removal, Rainbow attack boost, you know, Despair removal, and then you got Toki, who is one of the most valuable units to own in the game. Like being able to make 2 units get 3.5 attack and orb boost, and that alone, I mean, partnered up with a conditional boost or a color affinity boost, is just enough to clear so many bosses by itself. And just being able to avoid so many debuffs as well is so good. And then you got Yamato, bind removal, Wano slots, increased damage taken, chain boost. I think I'm going to put Yamato as the 5th best legend in the game currently. And then I'm going to be putting these 2 down here. I think that's the way that we're going to do it right now. Again, as I said though, like these, like Yamato, Toki, Roger, Ace Akainu, I mean, to a certain extent, some of these other characters in tier 0, some people may agree or disagree with some of these placings, of course, but man, they're all so nice to have, and any of these characters could be considered like the top 5 best legends in the game. But the anniversary brought along some really powerful units, and I think mainly due to the fact that Yamato is a striker unit and having great synergy with the other great strikers that we have is one of the main reasons why I think that she's going to be this high. It's crazy, man. It's crazy how times change, but I think this is going to just about wrap up the tier list for the month of June 2022. And of course, next month we'll have to wait and see what comes out. And of course, there may be some characters that I may have missed, or you guys may disagree with that probably should make the list or anyways. But you know, of course, that's up for your opinion. But this is just my personal opinion on the tier list of the best legends of One Piece Treasure Cruise 2022 for the month of June. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video today, and if you guys did enjoy the video, make sure you go ahead and leave a like. And if you want to stay up to date with all the content that I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. But on that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.